As area council election draws near in Abuja, the Association for Public Policy Analysis, APA, organized an anti-electoral offenses sensitization forum dedicated to strengthening the integrity of electoral process and safeguarding democracy. The convener and national president APA, Chief Princewill Okorie, in his address reiterated that election is the gateway through which leaders derive legitimacy.
This important anti-electoral offenses sensitization forum, a gathering dedicated to strengthening the integrity of our electoral offenses process and safeguarding the very foundation of our democracy. This program started with the anti-electoral offenses workshop organized by our association on 17 September 2025 at FCT Pavilion, Area 10, and in Abuja. Follow-up meetings were held with the stakeholders in FCT politics on 2nd October 2025. Another was held with FCT Office of INEC on 22nd October 2025 and FCT Police Command on 7th November 2025. The meetings, which were consultative in nature, were designed to find a better strategy for execution of recommendations made by participants at the initial workshop on 17 September 2025. Elections are not merely events. Elections are not merely events. They are the voice of people. They represent the gateway through which leaders derive legitimacy. This goes to say, for legitimate and accountable leaders to emerge during elections, electoral processes and laws have to be transparent, fair, and strictly adhered to, with appropriate punishments or consequences meted out to electoral offenders without delay. This is why the challenge of prosecuting electoral offenses should be a major issue if we want credible leaders to emerge as winners in our elections.
INEC FCT chapter, in their remark, believe that free, fair, and credible election can only be assured if political actors and security agencies collaborate with them to stem the election menace.
To be inviting people to come for events like this. Ours is we organize elections. I can cite an example to you. A few months back, we did voters registration. We asked people to come out. They came out and we registered them. That we have done our own part. We will organize elections and we will tell people to come and vote. Depends on them coming out. We can't force anybody to come out, but people should please come out and exercise their right to vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What our expectation here was so high. We expected to see the political actors who are supposed to hear this, what we have just shared this afternoon. But unfortunately, the people who need this information, we are not here. But notwithstanding, I believe INEC representative and the IPAC officials that are here, we put up a very big, a wider program for where we have these people on ground so that they will be sensitized. Like we heard from the INEC representative, that most of these things are actually initiated by the political actors who influence the returning officers and the electoral officers. And so by this, you had when I said we had issue in Gwarimpa and Kabusa, and the INEC official was able to educate us on actually what happened. And I said something concerning the media house. Sometimes most of this information are misinformation. But with this, if we can push this sensitization to the highest level, people get to understand the risks they take in involving electoral offenses. I think we will question this effect of electoral offences, vote buying, kidnapping of ballot paper, and using security agencies to initiate these, electoral offences during elections. And so I know in FCT, I want to believe we don't have much problem in FCT because this is the power of the city. And well, aside that, we still have some communities within FCT that most of these things happen. We have villages like Ubuchi, Shere, Igu, and other villages within FCT where these things can happen. So we need to take this to grassroots so that people understand their rights, so that people will not be disenfranchised. Political apathy, people will not be intimidated during elections, and INEC needs to step up their games to ensure they arrive at the polling at the right time, so that they do the needful and then people vote and go back home.
I'm the National President of Association for Public Policy Analysis. This event today is a follow-up to the workshop on the anti-electoral offences we held on 17th of September 2025, where all stakeholders came. The candidates of the political parties came, the IPAC came, and others. At the end, recommendations were made. The recommendations, one of which was that the enlightenment should be stepped down to the area councils. And that is why we are starting today from AMAC, Abuja Municipal Area Council. That's what we have done today. What you've seen today is a kind of showing you the attitude of the average Nigerian politician and the election managers. When we said at the last event on September 17th, I said that criminals produce our leaders. And it looks as if it's deliberate. Because after no election has passed, where electoral offenders are prosecuted. And when you look at the electoral at section 144 and section 145, it contradicts part 1, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which says any law that is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution should be null and void. Why will the electoral at section 144 and 145 not recommend a role for the police in terms of prosecuting electoral offenders? Even INEC, he said, until electoral tribunal recommends, they will not prosecute. In other words, it's a difficult task to prosecute electoral offenders. And this is why you see the root of insecurity in this country. Because those criminals that go and hijack ballot box, that do all those things, they are the ones that now go into acts of kidnapping and insecurity. Because if the Electoral Act and the managers of the election really prosecute those who commit these offenses, the number of criminals in society will be reduced. But they are empowered by their political leaders, who encourage them and empower them with all manner of things they do. And you can observe that in even government addressing insecurity in this country. Where is the political angle to insecurity? Has government looked at the role of politicians in encouraging electoral violence, encouraging electoral offenses as one route from where insecurity emerges?
My name is Comrade Anthony Onoja, also known as the Way Forward. First, a member of the New Nigeria People's Party, State Publicity Secretary precisely, and the Director General for IPAC, Interparty Advisory Council, FCT. This is a program we held today. Is a very sensitive program, and they are full of hurdles and challenges. Just so we can bear with us to see what actually takes place. Any good thing that want to take place, there are obstacles, and we're also encouraging the advisors, that the convener, not to be deterred by what happened. And the issue of the electoral violence we're talking about is very crucial that we put up a program like this, because in the law court, ignorance is never an excuse. Because at the end of the day, these big men, they will send their children, they are abroad, then they will leave the downtroders to go and snatch ballot box. When they are caught and sent to prison, at the end of the day, it is them now that will suffer it. So setting up a program like this, I know it's very, very taxful, it's very, very financial costing, but we will not give up. Even as an APAC, as we are living and now, we are going to look for a way to synergize, look for a way to strategize, and look at to commend this program on our own part. Just as we said, we are going to work with the traditional leaders. If possible, we can even take this thing down to the street And when you take it down to the street, to the marketplaces, to the churches, to the mosques and all those things, all this information will get quicker and faster to that place. I want to also commend the media, people who are doing a great work. You are the voice to the voiceless. If you are not here, I would believe that the people outside will hear this what we are passed through today. Thank you.
Mohammed Jinadu, Voicetv Nigeria.